So what if we built music theory from scratch today? So what would we do? Like if you were to clean the slate and say, I'm just going to build a system that's the cleanest system possible, right? I'm just going to take away all the baggage and just say, I'm just trying to build a clean system. What would we do? Well, we'd start by acknowledging 12 equal tones in the chromatic system, meaning I'm not going to say that C is somehow superior than the other notes, right? I'm just going to say they're all equivalent, right? They're all equivalent. You might like to play in one versus the other, but in theory, they're all the same, basically. They're even, right? We don't want to create a false bias on one or the other just from a theory standpoint, just like numbering, just normal numbers. You don't want to create a false, seven's the best number. Well, that's numerology. You might as well be doing tarot cards or something, right? That's like not exact. It's not, there's nothing fundamentally better about the number, right? So we'd number them 1 through 12. Again, you could argue 0 through 12 from a systems perspective, but I'm going to go 1 through 12 here, just like we do with hours on a clock or positions on a wheel, which again might start at 0, but I'm going to start at 1. So we'd use a modular math. So intervals equals subtraction. So that allows us to do obviously subtractions easily. Transposition equals addition, and inversion 12 minus x to inverse something because there's 12 notes. So we layer modes, chords, and scales over the clean framework. So now you have when you start to put the modes in and the chords and the scales, now it's layered over something that doesn't have multiple names to it and whatnot. And your foundation now being clean will mean that everything you build from it, the scales will not have multiple names and whatnot, or less likely to. The modes and the chords and everything that you build, everything we built from here was built off of a foundation that's way more messy than it needs to be, right? So that's why we end up with all these weird names. So in short, we'd build music theory with numbers, not letters. It's the general idea. We now use, so the time is a good time right now. Why? Because now we have software like MIDI, which is already numbered based. Again, you can argue about how did they use C as 0, C as 1, A as 1, or whatever. But we have the DOS and software visual plus numerical. So obviously any of the database programs that are being used are basically, of course, doing this because this is the conversion you have to do. I'm not saying that you need to be a coder. I'm saying that if the coding is doing that, it's because its brain is doing something easier than what your brain is trying to do because your system that you're using is more complex. It's an indication that your system's more complex. Guitar and piano apps, so spreadsheets, AI, all have the capacity to help out. We can do simple math if you do this on a spreadsheet as well, which again, if you're trying to analyze music theory, is great. So why the time is right, the traditional note names are useful for tradition, but if we want to learn faster, think cleaner, and create more more flexibility, so numbering the notes, 12 notes is the most powerful system we've never been taught. So that's what we want to do typically. So again, I don't think you can eliminate I wouldn't suggest that if you're learning music, you're going to say, well, I'm just not going to learn the note names at all. That's going to make it more difficult because then you will have to translate everything. But I think it's way worth your time to learn a numbering system along with the notes and be able to code switch back and forth between them, allowing you the capacity to use simple math in spreadsheets as well as your brain when you're trying to figure things out. And again, just try to say this alphabet forwards and backwards and get the sharps and flats correct and not use your fingers to see how far, and you tell me, like, it's just obvious, okay? It's just obvious that that's ridiculous. Okay.